Highness Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, Amir of the State of Qatar.
صاحب السمو الشيخ تميم بن حمد بن خليفة آل ثاني أمير دولة قطر. صاحب السمو، يشرفنا ويسعدنا أن تكونوا معنا لأول مرة هنا في اجتماعنا في دافوس. منذ سنوات طويلة لدينا تعاون قوي مع دولة قطر، وفي سنة 2010 أتذكر لما استضفنا القمة في الدوحة لكي نتناول موضوع آثار وتداعيات أزمة 2008-2009، الأزمة المالية تحت قيادتكم صاحب السمو. صاحب السمو، لقد أصبح بلدكم قوة كبيرة جدا في القضايا الدولية، بلد صغير لكن لديه أثرا كبيرا. قطر اليوم لديها سمعة كشريك حقيقي في الدبلوماسية الدولية والعلاقات الدولية. لقد عززتم علاقات قطر مع دول الجوار بما في ذلك المملكة العربية السعودية وإيران وتركيا. لقد قمتم بالتفاوض والوساطة في الشرق الأوسط وآسيا، وهذا ما أسهم إلى حد كبير في تعزيز الاستقرار على المستوى الدولي والحل السلمي للنزاعات.
Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, the current session of the World Economic Forum is of exceptional importance, for it is happening in the midst of economic challenges and geopolitical turmoil. Before we can hope for economic prosperity, we must first examine, repair, and enforce our framework for peace. And we need to send a reassuring message to people around the world. Only through unity we can overcome the conflict that divides us. I can tell you that after years of peace facilitation through mediation, that we can never give up hope. We should never give up trying to bring parties together, as long as we believe our efforts could save even a single life. Our attempts to mediate will be worth it. Our united efforts need to be based on principles already agreed on in the Charter of the United Nations, international law, and respecting each other's sovereignty. In recent decades, we have witnessed the marginalization of the role of the United Nations, the transgression of the rule of law in international relations, and the breakdown of basic respect for one another's independence. Solving dispute through aggression is on the rise, and it has reached one of its worst peaks in the war here in Europe. We are in touch with all parties concerned in the Ukrainian crisis, and I am ready to contribute to every international and regional effort to find an immediate peaceful solution to the conflict between the Russian Federation and Ukraine. Qatar firmly rejects the aggression of the sovereignty of states and any act that would constitute a violation of international law. We stand in solidarity with the millions of innocent refugees who are victims of this European war, and with the victims of all other wars taking place right now, victims of every race, nationality, and religion. I want us to help all of them. As we rightly apply laser focus to find a diplomatic solution to the Ukrainian crisis, I hope we can equally give as much attention and effort to resolving all those forgotten or ignored conflicts. They all deserve peace, security, and dignity. The most glaring example is in Palestine, which has been an open wound since the establishment of the United Nations. Those families have been occupied for decades with no relief in sight. The escalation in illegal settlement aggression has been relentless, and the same goes for the continual attacks against the Palestinian people. I keep praying that the world wakes up to the unjust and violence and finally acts. Shireen Abu Akleh, a Christian Palestinian American journalist, was killed 2 weeks ago in Palestine and then robbed of a dignified burial. Shireen was covering the suffering of the Palestinian people for decades, and our hearts are broken. Her death was just as horrific as the 7 journalists killed in Ukraine since March of this year, and 18 other journalists killed in Palestine since 2000, and many other journalists killed in the line of duty in Iraq, Syria, and Yemen. In the 21st century, we should not tolerate these aggressions, and we should not accept a world where governments have double standards about the value of people based on their religion, region, or race. We consider the value of each European life to be just as precious as someone from our region. Distinguished audience, as a small state, maintaining regional and international peace and security constitute a special priority for the state of Qatar. We work tirelessly to help manage, solve, mitigate conflicts, including our ongoing efforts in Afghanistan. We were honored to be able to help with the evacuation efforts in Afghanistan, and it was only possible thanks to the years spent investing in peacekeeping, expert mediation, state-of-the-art military and special forces, search and rescue teams ranked as some of the best in the world, and the countless hours of sweat, tears from so many. All those years of investment, training, building strategic partnership paid off. At a time when we were needed to step in and rescue people, I'm so grateful for all your sacrifices. My friends, I also consider protecting the environment to be a responsibility for all of us. Qatar has placed sustainability front and center and focused our rescue resources to develop emission reduction technologies and cleaner energy. We intend to play an active role in encouraging regional and international policy development surrounding both energy and environment. We have all seen over the past months what happens when we don't work together. At this critical moment in time, we must wisely balance the need to take care of the environment and simultaneously provide energy security for the world. This will take coordination and intense collaboration between all governments, companies, stakeholders, and every one of us. Because every single one of us needs energy. And right now, almost 1 billion people are still without a reliable energy source. As one of the largest producers of liquefied natural gas in the world, Qatar invested in LNG expansion efforts for years, understanding that LNG is a critical base load energy source needed during the transition which is already taking place. Increased energy production can provide the world with a cleaner, safer, more reliable and flexible energy. Achieving global energy security will lead to market stability and reduce the economic effects of the current energy crisis. Ladies and gentlemen, as most of you know, for the first time in the Middle East, Qatar will be hosting the FIFA World Cup the end of this year. We are working hard so this major sport event can allow our entire region the chance to host the world. For decades now, the Middle East has suffered from discrimination. And I have found out that such discrimination is largely based on people not knowing us and in some cases refusing to get to know us. Even today, there are still people who cannot accept the idea that an Arab Muslim country would host a tournament like the World Cup. These individuals, including many in positions of influence, have launched attacks at a pace never seen before when a mega sporting event was hosted by other countries on different continents. Despite the fact that each of those countries has its own particular problems and challenges, Qatar is just like your own country, not perfect, constantly trying to improve and full of hope for a brighter future. We are so proud of the development, reform, and progress we have made, and we are grateful for the spotlight that the World Cup provided, which inspired us to make these changes at a lightning speed. I assure everyone listening that this edition of the World Cup will be a special one. We believe that sport is a tool for positive change, promote tolerance and respect, empowers youth, and inspire unity. We stand by that belief, and I hope you will join us to discover the beautiful game as it is played in our country. Ladies and gentlemen, our common interest, our common responsibility, and the common destiny of all humanity required partnership, so we can all live together in peace. I thank you very much.